Imagine a place where every sunrise feels like the first in the world, where mountains rise like ancient guardians, rivers shimmer like liquid glass, and the ocean stretches farther than the eye can see. Welcome to the Philippines, a land that looks nothing like you expect. Forget the postcards, the glossy magazines, the tourist cliches. This is a country of hidden lagoons that glow at night, forests that breathe with life, cliffs carved by wind and waves, and islands waiting silently to reveal their secrets. From the glowing waters of Palawan to the terraced mountains of Banaue, from northern windswept cliffs to secluded villages where tradition thrives untouched, the Philippines is an archipelago of extremes. Every island tells a story, every wave whispers a secret, and every step you take uncovers wonders that defy imagination. In this journey, you won't just see the Philippines, you'll feel it, hear it, and experience it in ways that will stay with you forever. So step beyond expectation. Step beyond the familiar. Because the Philippines is not just a destination, it's a revelation. And this is its story. Reveal how the Philippines defies stereotypes, showcase its dramatic geography, vibrant cities, unexpected climates, and unique biodiversity. Set the tone for a journey that breaks expectations. They say the world knows the Philippines, but only from postcards, travel posters, and filtered beach photos. But the truth is, none of those images come close. Because the real Philippines doesn't just look different, it feels different. It's a country that reshapes every expectation the moment your feet touch its soil. Before you even see its islands, you feel something shift inside you. A mix of wonder, warmth, and mystery. If you think you know the Philippines, this journey will challenge everything. Stay with me, because what you're about to witness is not the Philippines you imagined. It's something far more powerful, more surprising, and more alive. Our journey begins at sunrise, floating above the scattered islands like a quiet observer watching a miracle unfold. As the sky turns from deep violet to burning gold, the outlines of over 7,000 islands reveal themselves, each one a world of its own. From above, the Philippines looks like a massive mosaic, crafted by nature's most patient hand: emerald mountains, turquoise waters, and endless stretches of coral reefs that glow like underwater galaxies. But the first thing that truly steals your breath isn't the landscape, it's the atmosphere. There is a softness in the air, a kind of purity you don't realize you've missed until it surrounds you. Palms stir gently, carrying the scent of salt, tropical flowers, and distant rain. Even the soundscape feels different, waves folding onto shores, birds singing a language of their own, and somewhere far away, the gentle hum of life beginning for the day. Touching down in Manila, the experience flips instantly. Suddenly you're in a vibrant, energetic, almost electric world, one that defies every stereotype. Manila is not just a city, it's a living story. Streets pulse with movement, colors clash beautifully everywhere you look, and the smell of fresh food fills the air like an unspoken invitation. Jeepneys painted like moving art pieces glide through the streets, each one telling the story of its owner. Skyscrapers rise proudly, street vendors laugh with customers, and music drifts from open windows. You realize quickly this is a place where past and future collide effortlessly. But beneath the motion and noise lies something most travelers never see: heart. Filipino warmth is unlike anything else in the world. Strangers greet you as if they've known you for years. People smile with an honesty that disarms you. A simple conversation with a vendor turns into a story, then into laughter. And somehow, it feels like family. The Philippines doesn't welcome you with formality, it welcomes you with soul. As we move deeper into the city, contrasts emerge like shifting scenes in a film. Ancient Spanish architecture stands proudly beside modern glass towers. Narrow alleyways hide secret food stalls that prepare dishes passed down through generations. Churches echo with quiet prayers, while lively markets burst with color and energy. Manila reveals itself slowly, layer by layer, as if inviting you to understand what most visitors never take the time to see. Then the city fades behind us. We move toward the coastline, where the true essence of the Philippines begins to unfold. Crystal waters stretch out before us, shimmering like liquid glass. Fishing boats painted in bright blues and reds sway gently with the tide. Children play barefoot in the sand, running with effortless joy. The rhythm here is simpler, but more meaningful. Life flows with the ocean, not against it. As we travel further from the capital, the country transforms again. Endless rice terraces sculpt the mountainsides like natural stairways to the sky. Dense rainforests hide waterfalls you can hear long before you see them. The land feels untouched, sacred, and ancient. The Philippines isn't a monolithic place. It's 1,000 cultures woven into a single nation, each island shaped by time, tradition, and the sea. And this is only the beginning. Because the Philippines is never what you expect on first glance. It is deeper, richer, more surprising. Every island, every mountain, every smile tells a story waiting to be discovered. And as our journey unfolds, you will see a version of this country almost no one outside its borders ever truly sees. Dive into Manila's contrasts, colonial history, towering skyscrapers, lively street culture, luxurious districts, heritage sites, and the soul of Filipino daily life. One introduced you to a Philippines far more alive than the world expects. Then, what comes next takes us deeper into a realm where nature shapes not just the landscape, but the heartbeat of the nation. Before we move onward, ask yourself this. What if paradise wasn't a single island, but an entire chain of worlds, each more unreal than the last? Because the moment you leave the mainland and cross into Palawan, you understand instantly, this is not a destination. This is a revelation. As our boat drifts toward the limestone giants of El Nido, the scene looks almost impossible, as if torn from a dream. Towering cliffs slice upward from emerald waters, their jagged edges softened by centuries of wind and rain. Below, the ocean glows in shades of turquoise and sapphire, shifting with every movement of the sun. Schools of fish shimmer like living silver, darting in synchronized waves beneath the surface. It's a place that makes your senses work overtime. Too much beauty, too close, all at once. The engine cuts, and suddenly there is silence. Not emptiness, but a peaceful stillness that wraps itself around you. The kind where even speaking feels inappropriate, as if words might break the enchantment of this place. The lagoon ahead is narrow, surrounded by walls that feel ancient, timeless. Our small boat glides through, like a guest entering a sacred chamber. This is the Philippines people dream about. But even dreams fall short. The water is so clear, you can see the shadows of coral gardens dancing on the sand below. Every color, every shape feels magnified by the calmness around you. Then comes Coron, another world, another surprise. From above, Kayangan Lake looks like a gemstone carved into the earth. The climb to the viewpoint is steep, but worth every breath. At the top, the world opens up in a way that forces silence upon you. The lake waits below, like a secret hidden for thousands of years, cradled among ancient cliffs forged by volcanic fire. The water shifts between deep emerald and neon blue, and when you finally swim in it, you realize it's unlike any water you've ever touched, so pure it feels unreal. Palawan is a reminder that nature is not just scenery. It is a force, a sculptor, a storyteller. Each island feels crafted with intention, as if the world decided this corner of Earth deserved something extraordinary. Even the simplest moments feel cinematic. A fisherman paddling home at sunset. A group of children diving from rocks with fearless laughter. A silent stretch of sand where the footprints you leave behind are the only ones in sight. But for all its beauty, Palawan is also wild. Jungle trails lead deeper into forests, filled with mysterious sounds, rustling leaves, distant cries, echoing calls you can't quite place. Waterfalls hide behind walls of green, each one with its own rhythm, its own voice. You feel small here, but not insignificant. Instead, you feel part of something larger, connected to a world untouched by rush or noise. Travelers often come here expecting beaches, but what they find is transformation. Time moves differently. Sunsets last longer. Even the wind carries stories. Locals say the spirits of their ancestors still guard these lands, watching over the forests, the seas, the mountains that hold memories older than any written history. And standing there, surrounded by nature so powerful, you can understand why such beliefs live on. As evening falls over Palawan, the sky shifts from gold to crimson, then to deep indigo. The silhouettes of limestone cliffs fade into darkness, and the first stars appear one by one. The water reflects them like a mirror, creating the illusion of floating between two skies, one above you and one beneath. In moments like these, the Philippines reveals its magic not through grandeur, but through silence, through stillness, through the delicate balance between nature and spirit. And as we drift back to shore, something becomes clear. The Philippines looks nothing like people expect, not because its landscapes are beautiful, but because they are alive, breathing, listening, holding stories in every wave and every stone. Chapter 2 closes not with an ending, but an invitation, because beyond Palawan, countless wonders wait. Hidden caves, glowing rivers, volcanic worlds, untouched forests, and cultures shaped by centuries of resilience showcase the rice terraces, indigenous tribes, mountain culture, fog-covered forests, mystical traditions, and the ancient engineering marvels of the Cordilleras. Before you see it with your eyes, you feel it in the air, a quiet vibration, a pulse beneath the ground, as if the earth itself is reminding you that this archipelago was forged by fire. And then, as the clouds part and the horizon sharpens, you understand this is not just a country of islands. This is a country of volcanoes, mountains born from the raw, untamed force beneath the crust. And nowhere is this truth more powerful than in the volcanic heart of the Philippines. Picture this. Dawn breaks over the still waters of Taal Lake. The world hasn't fully awakened yet, and the sky glows in soft pastels, pink, lavender, muted gold. A thin layer of mist hovers above the water, creating a dreamlike veil as fishermen quietly paddle across the lake. And in the center of it all rises Taal volcano, small, deceptive, almost gentle. But beneath its calm surface lies one of the most active and unpredictable volcanoes in the world. It is a reminder that beauty and danger often live side by side. As we approach the island, you can smell the sulfur mixed with the freshness of morning. Trails wind through volcanic rock, hardened lava, and steaming vents whispering hints of the Earth's hidden power. The crater lake at the top is a strange sight, tranquil, emerald green, and unsettlingly quiet. Standing here is like standing inside a story the world is still writing. Nature is breathing, restless, powerful. But Taal is just the beginning. Far to the east, another giant dominates the skyline. Mayon volcano. Perfectly symmetrical, breathtakingly tall, and considered by many as the most beautiful volcano on Earth. From any angle, it looks almost unreal, like an illustration drawn with impossible precision. Its slopes rise in smooth lines toward a sharp, cloud-kissed apex. Locals call it the Lady. Beautiful, graceful, and temperamental. As we travel closer, communities come into focus, towns built in the shadow of the volcano, where life continues with remarkable calm despite centuries of eruptions. Kids run along streets, playing games with the ever-present silhouette of Mayon towering above them. Farmers tend to their fields, fishermen repair their nets, and markets buzz with chatter. For them, the volcano isn't just a landmark. It's part of their identity. A guardian, a warning, a connection to history. At the Cagsawa ruins, the remains of an old church stand silently against the backdrop of the volcano. Only the bell tower rises from the ground. Everything else was buried during a devastating eruption centuries ago. Touching the weathered stones, you can almost hear the echoes of the past. Lives uprooted, cities erased, but also resilience, the kind that turns loss into legacy. From Mayon, our journey stretches northward toward Batanes, one of the most remote and breathtaking corners of the Philippines. Here, the volcanic origins of the land are impossible to ignore. Sharp cliffs and rolling hills rise dramatically beside roaring waves. The landscape shifts from gentle green slopes to rugged coastlines carved by centuries of wind and sea. Houses made of stone stand sturdy against storms, each one built to survive the unforgiving forces of nature. Batanes feels like another world, quiet, untouched, ancient. The winds here speak their own language, carrying whispers from both the mountains and the sea. Walking across the hills, you sense the raw power of creation, as if you're standing on the edge of the earth. And perhaps you are, for this is where continents once clashed, where magma sculpted the foundations of an island that now feels both fragile and eternal. What many visitors never realize is that the Philippines, despite its paradise-like beauty, is a land constantly shaped by natural forces. Earthquakes, typhoons, eruptions. It is a place where nature's power is never hidden. And yet, it is here that life flourishes with unmatched vibrancy. Maybe that's why Filipinos have such unmistakable warmth. Living in a land where everything can change in an instant teaches a deep appreciation for every moment of peace, every day of sunlight, every breath of calm. As night descends on this volcanic world, the sky turns into a canvas of stars. From the slopes of Mayon, you can see the Milky Way stretching across the heavens in luminous ribbons. The faint glow of the volcano's summit flickers like a warning or a heartbeat. It's easy to feel small in such a place, but it's also easy to feel alive. Volcanoes shape landscapes, but they also shape people. Their presence creates a culture defined by resilience, faith, and connection. And as we leave this region behind, one truth remains. The Philippines is not just beautiful, it is powerful. And in understanding that power, we begin to understand the soul of this country. The journey continues toward islands where rivers glow in the dark, where caves hide ancient secrets, and where the impossible becomes real. Explore El Nido, Coron, Puerto Princesa, underground river, remote islands, karst cliffs, and the surreal beauty that puts Palawan on the world's natural wonder lists. There are places in the Philippines where reality begins to blur, where water glows, caves breathe, and nature feels almost supernatural. And if you listen closely, you realize something extraordinary. This archipelago doesn't just offer beautiful landscapes. It offers wonders that feel impossible, wonders that make you doubt your senses. Because in this chapter, we enter the realm of the Philippines' hidden miracles, places so surreal they feel like scenes from another world. Our journey begins on the island of Siquijor, an island whispered about in myths and legends. For generations, outsiders called it the Island of Magic, a place where healers practice ancient rituals and nature seems alive with mystery. But when you arrive, the first thing you notice is not fear, it's peace, silence, an almost sacred calmness that wraps itself around you. And then, slowly, the real magic reveals itself. We walk through forests, layered with vines and thick canopies of green. The light filtering through the leaves feels softer here, as if the island wants to protect its secrets. And then we reach Cambugahe Falls, a multi-tiered waterfall so perfectly turquoise it looks edited, except it isn't. The water flows in smooth sheets, tumbling into pools that sparkle under the sun. It's a place where time slows, where laughter echoes from rope swings, where travelers float effortlessly, carried by the gentle current. But listen closely, and you'll hear something deeper, the sound of the island breathing, humming, whispering the stories it has held for centuries. From Siquijor, we move to another world entirely. Bohol, home to landscapes that defy explanation. Standing before the chocolate hills is like standing on a different planet. Thousands of perfectly rounded hills stretch across the horizon, identical in shape and size, as if carefully placed by unseen hands. During the dry season, they turn brown, giving them their famous name. But the true wonder lies not in their color, but in their formation. Scientists argue over theories: erosion, limestone, ancient coral, but none can fully explain why so many hills look exactly the same. It is a puzzle written into the land, and one that only deepens your sense of awe. Below these hills lies another secret: the Philippine tarsier, one of the smallest primates in the world. Its eyes, impossibly large, shine with an ancient, almost mystical intelligence. Its fragile hands grip branches with a delicacy that makes you hold your breath. Watching this tiny creature, you can't help but wonder, how much of the world's magic have we forgotten? And how much still exists in places like this, hidden in the silence of the forest? But if Bohol feels dreamlike, what comes next feels utterly supernatural. As night falls in Puerto Princesa, the world transforms. We drift into the mouth of the underground river, a vast, dark labyrinth, carved by nature over millions of years. The only light comes from our headlamps as the boat glides deeper into the cavern. Shadows twist across cathedral-like chambers. Stalactites drip from ceilings that vanish into darkness. Every sound, every drip, every ripple feels amplified. The air is cool, dense, still, and then you realize that this river, this whole hidden world, flows beneath a mountain and leads into the sea. A natural wonder unlike anywhere else on Earth. Farther south, in the island province of Davao del Norte, lies a phenomenon so unreal it feels like a fantasy. At Lake Bababu in Dinagat Islands, a narrow underwater tunnel connects the lake to the ocean. Fishermen believe the waters possess healing powers, and travelers who swim here describe a sensation unlike any other: light, buoyant, almost spiritual. Again and again, the Philippines reminds us that even the most remote corners hold stories that reach far beyond the surface. And then, when night takes over, the country reveals its greatest wonder of all: waters that glow in the dark. In the lagoons of Romblon and the serene shores of Palawan, tiny, bioluminescent plankton light up with every movement. Dip your hand in the water, and it glitters with electric blue sparks. Kick your feet, and the sea ignites in a swirling trail of light. For a moment, you feel like you're floating through the stars. This is the Philippines. Most people never imagine. Mysterious, otherworldly, alive with hidden marvels. An archipelago where nature plays with color, light, shape, and sound in ways that defy logic. But perhaps the greatest wonder is not the waterfalls, or the caves, or the glowing seas. It is the way these places make you feel. They remind you that the world is bigger, stranger, and more magical than we allow ourselves to believe. They awaken curiosity. They restore a childlike sense of awe. They whisper to us that there is still so much left to discover. As we rise from the underground river and step back into the starlit night, one truth becomes clear. The Philippines is a living storybook, and every island is a chapter waiting to be read. The journey now moves toward places shaped by sky and water. Rice terraces carved like stairways, mountains sculpted by centuries of human hands, and valleys where history is written into every stone. Highlight the Chocolate Hills, Lobak River, Kawazan Falls, canyoneering adventures, rich history, sea life, and world-famous beaches. If the Philippines is a tapestry of islands, then the Highlands are its woven heart, ancient, intricate, and alive, with stories carved by human hands. As our journey turns inland, we leave behind oceans and glowing waters and ascend into mountains where the air grows cooler, the world grows quieter, and history reveals itself not in ruins or relics, but in landscapes shaped by generations of perseverance. This is the home of the Cordilleras. The climb begins long before you reach the rice terraces. Winding roads snake through pine forests, through valleys filled with morning fog that moves like a living river. The air smells different here, cleaner, sharper, tinged with the scent of wet earth. And as dawn slowly lifts the veil from the mountains, the world begins to transform. Hills rise like giant sleeping forms. Rivers cut through deep ravines. Villages cling to cliffsides, their wooden houses perched with improbable balance. You begin to sense that this land demands strength and rewards it. And then, suddenly, the mountains open up, revealing a sight that stops everything inside you. The Banaue rice terraces. They stretch across the slopes like giant stairways built for the gods, layer after layer of green carved with impossible precision. They rise and fall with the contours of the mountains, creating patterns that look like ancient artwork. It's hard to believe that over 2,000 years ago, the Ifugao people shaped this land with nothing more than hand tools, determination, and knowledge passed down through countless generations. Standing at the viewpoint, the terraces seem endless. Clouds drift between the peaks like soft white curtains. Sunlight glimmers across flooded fields, turning the slopes into mirrors reflecting both sky and earth. Farmers move along narrow ledges, tending their crops with movements that feel almost ritualistic. Each step they take is part of a heritage older than most civilizations on Earth. But Banaue is only the beginning. A short journey, deeper into the mountains, brings us to Batad, a place even more dramatic, more raw. The terraces here form a natural amphitheater, wrapping around a valley with steep, sharp intensity. The walls rise vertically, sculpted with such mastery that they seem unreal. Walking the ledges requires balance, focus, and reverence. Every stone you see was placed by hand. Every layer tells a story of a people who chose harmony over domination, who shaped their world without destroying it. In these terraces, you begin to understand something profound. This is not just agriculture. This is culture, identity, survival, a sacred relationship between humans and the land. The Ifugao did not simply build terraces, they built a living ecosystem, one that breathes, grows, and evolves with time. Farther north, the town of Sagada welcomes us with a different kind of wonder, one that lies deep within caves and high upon cliffs. The hanging coffins of Shugong, suspended on limestone walls, speak of a tradition rooted in honor and belief. Here, the dead are placed close to the mountains so their spirits may watch over the living. Travelers stand in silence, humbled not by fear, but by the reminder that every culture tells its own story about life, death, and eternity. Below the cliffs, Sumaguing Cave stretches into the dark heart of the earth. Lanterns illuminate twisted rock formations sculpted over thousands of years, smooth curves, jagged edges, chambers shaped like flowing curtains. The descent is slippery and steep, but when you reach the cavern's belly, the stillness envelops you. Every drip of water, every echo of movement feels ancient, sacred. This is a place where geography and spirituality intertwine. Back in the open air, Sagada shows a softer side. Pine forests sway in the cool mountain wind. Mornings are crisp, with mist rolling over the hills like waves. Locals gather around small cafes, sipping warm mountain coffee grown in nearby farms. Life is slower here, gentle, deeply connected to tradition. What makes the Cordilleras truly extraordinary is that they offer something few landscapes can: a glimpse of humanity working with nature, not against it. And when you see the terraces, illuminated by late afternoon sun, casting golden reflections across the mountains, you feel it a sense of timelessness, a reminder that beauty is often born from effort, patience, and respect. As evening falls, the Highlands become a world of shadows and soft lights. Fires flicker in village homes. The temperature drops. The mountains rest beneath a blanket of stars that shine more clearly than anywhere else in the country. In the silence, you can almost hear the whispers of ancestors carried by the wind. The Philippines isn't just about beaches, lagoons, or waterfalls. It is also about mountains that hold the memory of ancient civilizations, landscapes shaped by hands that understood the soul of the earth, and traditions that continue to thrive far from the noise of modern life. And as we descend from the Cordilleras, one truth lingers: the real Philippines isn't found in postcards or brochures. It is found in the stories etched into its land, and in the people who keep those stories alive. Ahead lies another chapter of discovery, where wildlife, forests, and untouched sanctuaries reveal a side of the Philippines even fewer travelers ever see. Showcase Siargao, waterfalls, pristine lakes, indigenous communities, vibrant landscapes, and cultural depth few travelers ever witness. There's a moment in every journey when you realize the world is far more alive than you ever imagined. In the Philippines, that moment arrives the first time you step into its wild heart, into forests so dense they swallow sound, rivers so clear they reflect entire worlds, and sanctuaries where creatures found nowhere else on Earth move through the shadows. This is the chapter where the Philippines reveals its soul as one of the planet's greatest biodiversity treasures. Our adventure begins in the jungles of Mindanao, where morning rises not with sunlight, but with sound. Birds call from every direction, whistles, clicks, trills, and songs that echo through the canopy. The forest wakes slowly, layer by layer, until the entire landscape feels like it's breathing. Dew clings to leaves. The air is cool and damp, and somewhere in the thick foliage, a rustle hints that something is watching. Then you see it, the Philippine eagle, majestic, sharp-eyed, and enormous. With wings stretching up to 7 feet, it moves with a grace that contradicts its power. Perched high on a branch, it surveys the forest like a guardian spirit. This eagle exists nowhere else on Earth, and seeing it in the wild feels like witnessing a myth come to life. It stands not just as a symbol of strength, but as a reminder of the fragile balance between human activity and nature's survival. From the forest floor, we move deeper into river country toward the enchanted river in Hinatuan, a place that looks like a portal to another dimension. The water here is an impossible shade of sapphire, so clear you can peer into its depths but never quite see the bottom. Locals say the river is guarded by spirits, and standing at its edge, you understand why. It doesn't look real. It doesn't feel real. As the sun illuminates the blue pool, colors shift like swirling silk. Fish glide in synchronized movements, vanishing into underwater caves that extend farther than any diver has ever reached. Science cannot fully explain how the river maintains such clarity, or why its depth seems infinite. Some mysteries simply refuse to be solved. Our journey continues to the dense interiors of Palawan, where one of the world's last remaining rainforests thrives. Giant trees stretch toward the sky, their roots twisting like ancient sculptures. Moss coats, stones, branches, and trunks, giving everything a soft green glow. Hidden within this jungle is the Palawan bearcat, strange, elusive, and gentle. With its feline face, long tail, and sweet smell of pandan on its fur, it moves silently across branches. Rarely seen, it embodies the wildness of this land, a creature so odd and enchanting that it feels invented by fantasy. Deeper still, the forest opens into mangrove sanctuaries where the boundary between land and water dissolves. Wooden walkways lead through towering roots that rise like wooden cathedrals. The water below is calm and dark, reflecting the intricate maze of branches above. In these mangroves live tiny fireflies that gather in rhythmic clusters. At night, they glow and flicker in perfect synchronization, turning trees into shimmering sculptures of living light. It feels like watching stars blink into existence just inches from your hands. But biodiversity in the Philippines isn't limited to the forests. It thrives beneath the sea, where some of the most vibrant marine ecosystems in the world flourish. Off the coast of Cebu, the Sardine Run creates a spectacle unlike anything else. Millions of fish swirling in enormous spinning clouds, moving as a single organism. As you swim among them, the water seems to pulse with motion. Sunlight fractures through the living vortex, creating patterns of flashes and shadow. It's hypnotic, overwhelming, unforgettable. A short distance away, the thresher sharks of Malapascua emerge from the deep. With long, elegant tails and glassy eyes, they glide through the water with calm precision. Divers descend before dawn to watch these creatures rise from depths of hundreds of meters, an ancient ritual that happens nowhere else on Earth. These sharks aren't aggressive. They aren't monstrous. They are shy, almost gentle, moving with a quiet decision that feels almost human. And then there are the sea turtles. Slow, graceful, wise. In the waters of Apo Island, they glide effortlessly over coral gardens, bursting with life. Bright anemones sway with the current. Neon fish flash like sparks. Coral formations tower like underwater cities. Floating among them, time loses meaning. What becomes clear as you explore these ecosystems is that life in the Philippines is not just diverse, it is deeply interconnected. Forests protect rivers. Rivers feed coasts. Coasts nurture reefs. Reefs sustain communities. Everything breathes together. But this beauty also carries a message. Many of these species, like the Philippine eagle, like the bearcat, like the thresher shark, stand on the edge of vulnerability. Climate change, illegal hunting, pollution, and deforestation threaten their worlds. What remains today is precious beyond measure, a reminder of the responsibility that comes with discovery. As the sun sets over the forest canopy, turning the sky gold and crimson, the sounds of the jungle rise again. Creatures call out, leaves rustle, the wind moves through tall branches with a low, steady hum. It is a world teeming with life. Life that has survived for thousands of years. Life that deserves to thrive for thousands more. And as we step away from the wild heart of the Philippines, we carry with us a deeper understanding. This country is not just beautiful because of what you see. It is beautiful because of what lives here, because of the fragile, magnificent heartbeat that echoes through its forests, rivers, and seas. Ahead, the journey continues toward vibrant cities, cultural mosaics, and stories written by centuries of triumph, struggle, and identity. Explore volcanoes, crater lakes, disaster-shaped landscapes, resilient communities, and breathtaking natural formations shaped by fire. What if I told you there's a place in the Philippines where time slows down, where every breath feels lighter, and where the world seems to whisper, "Stay a little longer"? This is the chapter where the Philippines reveals one of its greatest secrets, its hidden mountains and remote interior regions. Far from the beaches and islands, there is a heart of silence, beauty, and ancient tradition that most travelers never even imagine. And once you step into it, you realize the Philippines is far more than just a tropical paradise. It is a living storybook written across mountains, rivers, and generations. Deep within the Cordillera Mountains lies a world so breathtaking and so surprising It overturns every cliché about Southeast Asia. This is the land of Banaue, Bontoc, and Sagada, where terraced mountains rise like giant staircases carved by ancient hands. Standing before the Banaue rice terraces, you feel small, humbled, almost overwhelmed. Locals call them the eighth wonder of the world, and when you see them stretching endlessly over the ridges, it's impossible to disagree. These terraces were shaped more than 2,000 years ago, long before modern tools, long before machinery. They were built by determination, by unity, by a culture that understood the land better than we understand our own cities today. As you walk through the terraces, you can hear the soft trickle of mountain water weaving through the stone-lined canals. You can watch farmers tending the rice, their silhouettes framed against a sky that looks impossibly blue. There is no rush here. No noise. No chaos. Only the rhythm of the mountains, steady and ancient. It's a reminder that progress doesn't always mean speed, and that beauty often comes from patience and tradition. But the Cordillera offers more than landscapes. It offers stories. In Sagada, the cliffs hold centuries of history in the form of hanging coffins suspended high above the valley. It is a burial ritual unlike anything most people have ever seen. Here, death is not hidden away. It is lifted toward the heavens, treated with quiet reverence. Standing beneath those wooden coffins, you can feel the weight of a culture that honors both the living and the dead in a way that is peaceful, reflective, profoundly human. Then there is the Echo Valley, a place where your voice doesn't just bounce back, it feels like it travels through time. When you call out into the air, the mountains answer. It's as if the land itself wants to speak. And in the nearby caves Sumagwing and Lumiang, you enter an entirely different world. Underground rivers, ancient rocks, chambers carved by nature's slow, endless hand. The air is cool and damp, the darkness deep and enveloping. Your footsteps echo through the caverns, reminding you that nature does not need light to create beauty. It needs only time. And then, unexpectedly, the mountains give you moments of gentle simplicity. Breakfast in a wooden cabin overlooking the clouds. A warm cup of local coffee grown on the terraces. The smell of pine drifting through the air. Children running freely along the mountain paths. Here, life doesn't feel small or limited. It feels full, grounded, connected to something real. Yet what truly defines the Cordillera region is its people. The Ifugao, the Kankanai, the Bontoc tribes, they carry traditions that survive not by force, but by pride. Their dances, their crafts, their quiet resilience. These are the threads that have kept their culture alive for thousands of years. Speak to an elder, and you'll notice something remarkable. They talk about the land as if it is family. Every mountain has a history. Every river has a purpose. Every tree has a role. It is a relationship built on respect, not ownership. And it's a lesson the modern world desperately needs. Travelers often come to the Philippines expecting beaches. But here, in these mountains, they find something much more powerful. They find meaning, depth, a connection to a culture that still honors its ancestors, still protects its forests, still believes that land is sacred. This region shows a side of the Philippines that is rarely shown in glossy travel ads. A side that is deeply spiritual, quietly majestic, and forever unforgettable. The mountains of the Philippines are not just beautiful. They are alive. They breathe. They speak. And when you leave, they stay with you. In the silence you remember, in the stories you carry, and in the way your heart feels just a little more open than before. Here, the ocean crashes against towering cliffs with relentless energy. White sands stretch endlessly, sometimes broken by jagged rock formations that rise like natural skyscrapers. The wind is constant, and it carries a salt-laced scent that fills your lungs and sharpens your senses. Pagudpud doesn't just ask you to look, it demands that you feel. Every step along the sand, every crash of a wave, reminds you how small we are in the face of nature's power. One of the most striking features of the northern coast is the Banaue windmills. Towering over fields of green, their massive white blades spin gracefully against the horizon, harnessing the energy of the persistent winds. They are modern monuments in a landscape steeped in history, a juxtaposition that perfectly embodies the Philippines. The windmills aren't just functional, they're symbolic, reminding us that the land and its resources are both ancient and alive, shaped by generations of innovation and adaptation. But Ilocos Norte is more than cliffs and modern marvels. Inland, Banaue Church rises like a fortress against time. Its massive coral walls, buttresses, and intricate facade tell the story of a people who blended faith, art, and resilience. The church has survived earthquakes, typhoons, and centuries of change, standing as a testament to the enduring spirit of the communities around it. Walking inside, sunlight streams through narrow windows, illuminating centuries of history. Silence here is almost tangible, a stark contrast to the roaring waves of the nearby coast. Beyond the churches, beyond the cliffs, the northern Philippines reveals hidden coves and lagoons that feel untouched by humanity. The waters are a stunning mix of turquoise and cobalt, reflecting cliffs and sky with crystal clarity. Fishing boats glide silently across the waves, and locals navigate these waters as if following a rhythm passed down for generations. Every scene feels like a painting, a reminder that some of the world's most breathtaking vistas are rarely found on postcards. As the day fades, the northern sky offers a final spectacle. Sunsets here are fiery and prolonged, spilling gold and crimson across the cliffs and ocean. The wind, constant throughout the day, softens to a whisper. Birds return to their nests. The waves slow their rhythm. And standing on a cliff edge, looking out across the endless water and rolling landscapes, you realize that this is a side of the Philippines. Most never see a place where the land is raw, the culture is intact, and every moment feels sacred. The northern Philippines challenges every expectation. It shows that this country is not only islands and beaches, it is mountains, cliffs, deserts of sand, and windswept coastlines. It is a place of extremes, contrasts, and unfiltered beauty. And just when you think you've seen it all, the islands still hold countless hidden corners where traditions endure, wildlife thrives, and nature continues to surprise those willing to explore. As night falls and stars blanket the northern skies, you are left with a quiet revelation. The Philippines is a land that cannot be contained by postcards, travel guides, or expectations. It must be experienced fully, with all your senses awake, because each new place offers another layer of wonder, another story waiting to be discovered. Ahead, our journey will take us even closer to the sea, the islands, the fishermen, and the communities whose lives are intertwined with water in ways most outsiders never imagine. This is the heart of island life, and it is more extraordinary than you can possibly expect. Explore daily island life, festivals, food culture, maritime traditions, and the deep connection Filipinos share with the ocean. The Philippines is a nation built on water, not just surrounded by it, but defined by it. Every island, every community, every story flows from the sea. And as we journey into the heart of island life, it becomes clear. The ocean here is not a backdrop. It is a lifeline, a playground, a storyteller, and a sacred presence that shapes culture, tradition, and daily survival. This is a side of the Philippines few travelers ever see, but it is the soul of the country. Our journey begins in Palawan, where small fishing villages cling to the edge of turquoise waters. Boats are painted in brilliant blues, reds, and yellows, each telling its own story. Fishermen depart before sunrise, gliding silently across calm seas, nets ready, faces calm but alert. The rhythm of their lives is dictated by the tides, the wind, and the unseen currents beneath. Watching them, you realize that generations of knowledge have been passed down not through books, but through observation, intuition, and an intimate understanding of nature's moods. Life on the water is a dance. Children dive off boats to swim in sparkling lagoons, their laughter echoing across limestone cliffs. Families repair nets while sharing stories, and the aroma of freshly grilled fish mixes with the salty breeze. Markets open along narrow docks, overflowing with the day's catch mackerel, tuna, crabs, and shellfish. Here, food is immediate, intimate, and connected directly to the ocean. Every meal is a testament to the balance between humans and the sea that sustains them. In the Visayas, we discover another layer of this island life. In the small town of Siquijor, locals row traditional bangkas through mangrove-lined channels. These wooden outrigger boats glide silently, balanced by precision and centuries of experience. Mangroves themselves are essential. They protect the coast, provide nurseries for young fish, and sustain communities dependent on the sea. It is a vivid reminder that in the Philippines, survival, culture, and environment are intertwined. Beyond the mangroves, the open ocean reveals yet another secret. The Philippines is home to some of the most breathtaking marine biodiversity on the planet. Snorkeling in Apo Island or Tubataha reefs, you see corals exploding with color, fish that shimmer like living gemstones, and sea turtles gliding gracefully in crystal clear waters. Schools of sardines swirl in hypnotic formations. Thresher sharks rise silently from the deep, and every movement feels like part of an ancient choreography. For locals, these waters are not just beautiful, they are sacred, a reminder that life is fragile and interconnected. Island life is not only about survival, it is also about community, faith, and celebration. Coastal festivals, or fiestas, blend devotion, music, and laughter. Boats are decorated in vibrant colors. Dances mimic the waves, the wind, and the rhythm of the tides. Elders recount stories of ancestors who first navigated these waters, teaching younger generations the routes, the currents, and the secrets of the sea. Here, tradition is alive, and the ocean is the medium through which culture flows. Yet life on the water is not always tranquil. Typhoons sweep through regularly, tides rise unexpectedly, and the sea can turn dangerous without warning. Locals respond with resilience, skill, and faith. They have learned to respect the power of the ocean, and in doing so, they survive and thrive where outsiders often fear to venture. This is a lesson in humility, the understanding that while nature is generous, it is never to be taken for granted. In addition to livelihood and culture, the ocean shapes identity. Children grow up swimming before they walk. Fishermen navigate by memory, stars, and subtle changes in wind and wave. Women prepare nets, clean catch, and sell in markets, participating in a cycle of life that is as old as the islands themselves. Even tourists feel its pull hours on a boat, floating through lagoons, diving into hidden coves, watching sunlight dance on water, all combine into a sense of connection to something far larger than ourselves. And when the sun sets over these island communities, the experience transforms yet again. The horizon glows orange and pink. Lanterns flicker on the water. Boats return home, moving like silhouettes across molten seas. The air is filled with the scent of salt, cooked fish, and tropical flowers. Music drifts from homes and street corners. In these moments, the Philippines feels not like a place you visit, but a world you enter, a living, breathing, shimmering world defined by water, life, and resilience. This is the Philippines that few expect, a nation not only of islands, but of people shaped by the sea, thriving because of it and celebrating it in every aspect of life. And as our journey prepares to move toward the final chapter, we realize that the story of this country is not just in its landscapes or its culture. It is in the way it touches every traveler's heart, leaving an impression impossible to forget. Next, we will explore the Philippines in its entirety, a land of contrast, magic, and enduring wonder, revealing why it changes everyone who steps onto its shores. If the Philippines has taught us anything throughout this journey, it is that expectation is often too small for reality. This is a nation that defies stereotypes, a place where islands hide entire worlds, mountains cradle ancient civilizations, forests shelter extraordinary wildlife, and oceans shape the lives of millions. And now, in the final chapter of our journey, we see the Philippines not as a collection of destinations, but as a living, breathing entity, vibrant, resilient, and endlessly surprising. Our final exploration begins with Luzon's northern landscapes, where mountains and valleys form a patchwork of life. Rice terraces reflect the sky like mirrors, rivers carve through cliffs, and clouds hang low in the early morning. Walking these highlands, you feel a connection to the past, a sense that every stone, every slope, every layer of earth holds stories written over thousands of years. Farmers work steadily, tending the terraces with patience and care, while children run along narrow ledges, their laughter echoing across the valleys. Here, life is measured not by hours or minutes, but by seasons, harvests, and tradition. Descending from the highlands, we move toward the sprawling lowlands and bustling cities that make up modern-day Philippines. Manila, Cebu, and Davao pulse with energy. Streets hum with jeepneys, markets overflow with color and sound, and the aroma of street food, grilled skewers, sweet pastries, steaming rice fills the air. The cities contrast sharply with the serenity of the islands and mountains, yet they reveal the resilience and creativity of the Filipino people. Every corner tells a story of adaptation, survival, and a culture that embraces joy even amidst chaos. But beyond cities and towns, the islands continue to astonish. Palawan remains a crown jewel, with its limestone cliffs, hidden lagoons, and secret beaches that seem untouched by time. The waters sparkle in impossible shades of blue, coral reefs teem with life, and small boats glide silently through channels carved by nature itself. Here, you feel the duality of the Philippines. Gentle yet wild, serene yet alive, timeless yet dynamic. And the Visayas offer yet another dimension, sweeping white sands, crystal clear lagoons, and a culture deeply connected to the ocean. Small villages thrive on fishing, trade, and tradition. Festivals fill streets with music, color, and energy. Every island carries its own personality, its own rhythm, its own sense of identity. Traveling from one island to the next is not just a journey through geography, it is a journey through culture, history, and human connection. Nature's power is ever present. Volcanoes rise majestically, reminding us that this land is forged by fire. Forests shelter unique species found nowhere else on Earth. Rivers and mangroves protect communities and provide life to countless ecosystems. The ocean remains the lifeblood of the nation, unpredictable yet sustaining, dangerous yet breathtakingly beautiful. And in every corner, people live in harmony with these forces, adapting, thriving, and celebrating the gifts of their surroundings. The Philippines is a study in contrast. Tranquil beaches sit alongside roaring cliffs. Ancient rituals exist beside modern innovation. Dense jungles hide rare creatures, while city streets burst with human energy. Each experience feels heightened, amplified, like walking through a world slightly larger, slightly more vivid than our imagination could allow. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all, that beauty, wonder, and magic often exist in the spaces we least expect, and that the Philippines, in all its diversity, is proof of this truth. As our journey draws to a close, we pause to reflect. The islands we've explored are more than just destinations. They are reflections of life itself. They teach resilience, patience, creativity, and joy. They remind us that the world is bigger than our expectations, more colorful than any postcard, and filled with surprises for those willing to look, listen, and wander. The Philippines does not simply welcome travelers, it transforms them. It challenges assumptions, awakens curiosity, and inspires a sense of awe that lingers long after departure. Standing on a cliff at sunset, or drifting through a glowing lagoon, or walking quietly through an ancient forest, you feel connected not only to this remarkable nation, but to the world itself. And so, as the sun sets on this extraordinary archipelago, the Philippines leaves us with one undeniable truth. It looks nothing like people expect because it is far greater than imagination. A land of endless discovery, eternal beauty, and living magic. A land that will stay with you forever. As darkness falls, the Philippines transforms once again. The cities glimmer with electric lights, markets close, and the streets quiet. Yet the islands continue to hum with life. In small fishing villages, lanterns flicker along the shoreline, reflecting on calm waters. Boats drift gently in the harbor, their silhouettes etched against a sky painted with deep indigos and golds. The rhythm of daily life slows, yet it never stops the sea, the wind, the land. They continue their eternal dance, carrying with them stories, traditions, and the heartbeat of the nation. Nighttime in the Philippines reveals a magic that few travelers witness. Fireflies gather in mangrove forests, twinkling like a constellation pulled down to earth. In secluded lagoons, the water glows from bioluminescent plankton, creating trails of light with every movement. Every ripple, every splash, becomes a brushstroke on nature's canvas, a reminder that the world is full of mysteries waiting to be explored. Here, in the quiet, you understand why the Philippines is not merely a destination, it is an experience, a living dream, and a place that captures the imagination in ways words alone cannot convey. Yet, beyond the natural wonders, it is the people who truly define the Philippines. Warm, resilient, and welcoming. They carry traditions that have endured centuries of change. Families gather for meals, elders share stories beneath the stars, and children grow up learning from both nature and community. In festivals, rituals, and daily life, one sees a profound respect for the past intertwined with a hope for the future. The Filipino spirit, like the islands themselves, is adaptable, vibrant, and unwavering, able to flourish amidst beauty and adversity alike. Across the archipelago, cultures blend in ways both subtle and spectacular. From Mindanao's mountainous highlands to Luzon's historic streets, from Palawan's hidden lagoons to the northern windswept coasts, each region offers a unique chapter of the Philippine story. Culinary traditions mix indigenous flavors with Spanish, Chinese, and American influences, creating dishes that are as complex and diverse as the landscapes themselves. Music rises from bamboo flutes and local drums, echoing the cadence of rivers, the whisper of winds, and the pulse of the islands. Art, dance, and storytelling carry the essence of history forward, connecting past generations to the present in ways that feel timeless and alive. As the night deepens, one truth becomes undeniable. The Philippines cannot be captured in a single image, a travel guide, or even a lifetime of visits. It is an ever-changing mosaic of experiences, each island offering a new perspective, each moment a fresh story. It challenges expectations, delights the senses, and invites you to discover not only its landscapes but also its heart. The Philippines is a living paradox, at once wild and serene, ancient and youthful, fragile and enduring, and it leaves every visitor profoundly moved, forever changed. Our journey comes full circle as we rise with the dawn one last time. The sun paints the horizon with soft gold and amber, illuminating mountains, rivers, and islands with a light that feels almost sacred. Fishermen set out in their boats, children run along sandy shores, and the wind carries the scent of salt and earth. Everything is alive, everything is connected, everything is part of a rhythm that has existed for millennia. Standing on the edge of a cliff or drifting through a calm lagoon, you realize that this is more than a journey. It is a meditation, a love letter to nature, culture, and human resilience. And as our cameras turn toward the horizon, one final revelation emerges. The Philippines is not meant to be fully understood. It is meant to be felt in the laughter of children, the crashing of waves, the glow of bioluminescent waters, and the quiet wisdom of mountain elders. It is a land of contrasts and connections, a place that challenges, inspires, and humbles simultaneously. It is a destination that reminds us why we travel, not just to see the world, but to experience it, to absorb it, and to carry its lessons home within us. The Philippines may look nothing like what people expect, yet it is far richer, far wilder, and far more beautiful than imagination can hold. It is islands upon islands, cultures within cultures, nature intertwined with humanity. And as our journey concludes, one thing is clear. This archipelago is unforgettable. It lingers in the mind, it touches the soul, and it calls travelers back again and again to explore, to wonder, and to fall in love with a country that is unlike anywhere else on Earth. As the sun sets over the endless horizon, painting the sky with gold and crimson, the Philippines whispers its final secret. Beauty here cannot be contained, explained, or fully captured. It exists in the laughter of children on quiet shores, the hum of the jungle at dawn, the rhythm of the waves against towering cliffs, and the enduring spirit of its people. This archipelago is more than islands, more than mountains, more than lagoons. It is a living, breathing testament to resilience, wonder, and the extraordinary. Each corner holds a story. Each wave carries a memory, and every moment offers a lesson in awe. The Philippines challenges every expectation, surpasses every imagination, and leaves a mark that lasts a lifetime. As our journey concludes, remember this. You haven't just traveled, you've witnessed a country that is alive in ways most people never see. And long after you leave its shores, the Philippines will remain with you, in your mind, in your heart, and in the endless wonder it inspires. The adventure ends, but the story of this incredible land continues, waiting for the next traveler brave enough to discover it. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.